Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Transcendence. This is by Shay Savage. This is a fictional romance. It's about a caveman and a woman from our time, or I would say a girl because she's like 18 years old. She's a senior in high school when this all happens. Now, as you're reading through it, you're only going to get the caveman's point of view, which his name is Ed, except for the very last chapter where you get Elizabeth's point of view, just to keep that in mind. In the beginning, you're following Ed. He is our caveman. He is contemplating letting himself die because his clan all died from a fire a couple years ago. He's incredibly lonely. He tried to approach a couple other cavemen before, but they chased him off with spears. Ed makes this giant hole in the ground to capture a deer. He does capture a deer, but then like not long afterwards, like it seems to, at least the way it's written, it's like a couple minutes later, he hears a cry coming from the pit, and this is where he finds Elizabeth. Elizabeth, when she goes back in the past, teleports to the kill pit, and he gets her out, and he basically is like, she's beautiful, she's gonna be my mate, and I'm gonna put a baby inside her. Like, straight up, this is, once he meets her, this is basically all he thinks about, and it's repeated multiple times in every single chapter henceforth, that he wants to put a baby inside of her, or he wants to put his thing inside of her to make a baby. Thankfully, though, they don't just get right into having schnoo. They actually, like, kind of get some sort of relationship going. Like, there's basically zero communication because he's a caveman and she's from now. So she tries to get him to say her name, which is Elizabeth. He can't do it. He gets frustrated, so he just calls her Bae. So he's Ed, she's Bae. They grow attached to each other. They rely on each other. He kind of doesn't like how much she talks because she still talks like we do now, and I can imagine how frustrating the communication issues are, and it kind of talks about it throughout throughout the book, where he'll literally like put his hand on her to shut her up because he's just like so tired of her talking. I did like the book to an extent. It kind of went downhill for me once they started having sex, because then it was very heavily about the sex, which I like sex in books. I do. I like reading about sex, but there's a point where you still need to have some kind of storyline, some sort of plot, you know, something going on, and there is stuff that goes on throughout the book, which is nice, but it would have been better if there was more. So I will say that there's like a little in-between part where I was just kind of like, meh, this is just too much on that. However, I will say the last 3 chapters were really touching and really enduring. I cried during the second to last chapter. It was very sweet. So I would recommend it. I would probably say, like, out of 5 stars, I'd probably say like 3.5-ish, just because there was that part where it was so heavy in the schnoo, just like too heavy. You know, I don't know. Anyway, but I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Bye, everyone. I just wanted to add that something I didn't like while I was reading this is that the male character knew what a placenta was, which I'm pretty sure they did not know what it was back then. And then the second thing was that he knew what an artery was when he was killing a boar. And I'm pretty sure they didn't know what that was either. They just knew, like, they get a stick and stabby, stabby, sticky, sticky, bleed all over, you know, caveman stuff. So maybe I'm being prejudiced against cavemen. I don't know. But that was something else when I was reading, and I was like, like, I'm pretty sure they didn't know those words back then.